wasn't my fault. I just couldn't win. The things that I said, they hurt you again. And if you don't let me down easy, always on the run, with our backs up against it all. No need to lose your mind, so just let it pass on. It wasn't my fault, I just couldn't win. The things that I said, they hurt you again. And if you don't let me down easy,
And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
Good evening and welcome to Wrestling Rewind. I am your host, Angel Amoroso, and I am joined by my co-host, the Iron Man, Tommy Caro. Tommy.
Always. How are you?
And this evening on Wrestling Rewind, we are going to go back to Wrestling Archives. And this evening, our focus is midgets. Just throughout the time. Yeah, so that's an interesting one that you don't see covered a whole lot.
I'm sure they feel like they didn't get, their due. Should be mentioned, just because we don't have a current midget, group running around.
Oh no, well, actually we do. And we're going to find out about that as we cover the midget Wikipedia.
You still say midget, right?
Yeah, well, we're going to read about that as well. Okay. So, midget wrestling is a professional wrestling involving dwarves of people of short stature. Its heyday was in the 1950s and 1960s when wrestlers such as Little Beaver, Lord Littlebrook, and Ethan Herzig toured North America, and Skylo Low was the first holder of the National Wrestling Alliance World Midget Championship.
Wow, I didn't even know they had it.
Yeah. In the following couple of decades, more wrestlers became prominent in North America, including foreign wrestlers like Japan's Little Tokyo. And there goes Sarita Sagrada, yeah, on his way to the ring. Actually, I worked the AAA show with him in New York during the 90s.
Yeah, they replicated the bigger guys with the smaller ones.
Yes, yeah, very interesting stuff. So the attraction was very popular in wrestling promotions from the 1950s into the 1970s. Many cards included midget wrestlers and included tag teams and women's midget wrestling. Television shows for promoters in various cities would frequently include midget matches.
I remember Darling Dagmar. That's the only girl I remember, girl midget.
Midget wrestling began to wane from after WWF's WrestleMania 3. Afterwards, promotions continued to feature midget divisions, but its popularity was slowly declining. By the mid-1990s, midget wrestlers mostly appeared in comical matches and segments rather than serious competitive wrestling type matches. In Mexico, this was not the case, as wrestlers Mascarita Sagrada continued to compete in prominent Mexican promotions such as AAA and Canejo.
Mundial de Lucha Libre.
Thank you. By the mid-2000s in the United States, midget divisions once again were part of major wrestling promotions, and wrestlers such as WWE's Hornswoggle were competing for and winning championships made for average-sized male wrestlers. Nice. A big step ahead. The Little People of America, the LPA, have criticized midget wrestling as reinforcing stereotypes that little people are no more than an entertainment. The LPA, as frowned on the use of the word midget in the name of sports, claiming that it is as offensive as a racial slur. Wrestlers do not always feel the same way. Many, include former WWE midget wrestler Hornswoggle, have said they take pride in the term due to its history in the industry and prefer the usage due to its marketability.
So I guess it's okay for people of regular stature to wrestle, and it's not embarrassing to them. So,
Well, some of them like it and some of them don't.
yeah.
You know, just like with any other terms referring to people of difference.
Yep.
So in the United States and Canada, the early history of midget professional wrestling had its early origins in vaudeville shows of the United States. In these shows, comedy was as important as athletics. The sport is also in debate, indebted to professional wrestling's carny origins, where a premium was placed on visually unusual. The heyday in 1949, Sky Low won a 30-man battle royal to become the winner of the first NWA World Midget Championship, a singles midget championship promoted by the National Wrestling Alliance. Sky Low was one of the most prominent midget professional wrestlers, had a long-time feud with Farmer Brooks. The 1950s have been called the golden age of midget wrestling. During that decade, Sky Low, Little Beaver, Lord Littlebrook, and Fuzzy Cupid all toured the territories of Canada, wrestling in promotions such as Stu Hart's Stampede Wrestling. The dominant promoter and booker for midget wrestling at the time was Jack Britton, who was stationed in Montreal, Quebec. In Ontario, Larry Karaboski also promoted midget wrestling shows. In Canada, Sky Low and Little Beaver earned up to 15% of the gate proceeds at the event. Wow, that's quite an accomplishment.
Nice,
The midget professional wrestlers had many gimmicks to attract audiences and revenue. One of Sky Low's gimmicks was an open challenge to any other midget professional wrestler to beat him in a 2 out of 3 falls match for $100. He would also turn himself upside down and balance on his head. The duo of Sky Low and Little Beaver even squared off in a match for Elizabeth II and King Farouk of Egypt. Sky Low also frequently teamed with Fuzzy Cupid in tag team matches. Meanwhile, Lord Littlebrook was credited as being one of the first wrestlers of any height to use aerial maneuvers in his match. In addition to North American, Littlebrook wrestled in Australia, Japan, and Thailand. The midgets also performed in Cuba prior to the 1950s, South America, Central America, England, Ireland, Scotland, and the countries on the mainland European continent. In the 1960s, Littlebrook trained other midget wrestlers, including Cowboy Lang. Female wrestlers, the Fabulous Moolah, also trained midget wrestlers at her home in South Carolina during the female midget wrestler Diamond Lil.
I remember her, yeah.
Female midget wrestlers were popular in the 1960s and 70s, beginning in the mid to late 60s. Diamond Lil wrestled Darling Dagmar, and in the 1970s, Lil mainly feuded with Princess Little Dove. Other prominent female competitors included Sheila Johnson, Sherry Lamour, and Gypsy Rose. The women, as well as the men, competed regularly for promotions such as Georgia Championship Wrestling. There's the peak and decline. There's a picture of Andre the Giant, some midget wrestlers, Joe Russell and Tom Thumb. Right. That's a good name for a midget wrestler.
Yeah.
Midget wrestling continued to be popular in the 1970s and 80s, with foreign wrestlers coming to the United States to compete. Little Tokyo, a Japanese professional wrestler, made his way into the National Wrestling Alliance in the 1970s. British wrestler Lord Littlebrook continued to compete, but he became a manager to Jack
Jack
The
Victor.
victory. Oh, to Jack Victor and Rick Morgan in a World Championship Wrestling in the late 1980s. The World Wrestling Federation included several midget wrestlers on their cards in the 1980s at WrestleMania 2 in April 1986. The Haiti Kid appeared in the corner of actor Mr. T, who was in a match against Roddy Piper on March 12, 1987. The WWF's WrestleMania 3 event, which is considered a pinnacle of the 1980s wrestling boom, included a tag team match with midget wrestlers Haiti Kid and Little Beaver, with average size wrestlers Hillbilly Jim defeating Little Tokyo and Lord Littlebrook with King Kong Bundy by disqualification.
Wow.
Isn't it when Bundy like slammed him?
Yeah.
So yeah, during the match, but yeah, Bundy slammed Little Beaver to the mat, which broke his back and forced him into early retirement.
Holy
Guy
crap.
Low was touring with the WWF in the 1980s. I didn't know that. Wow, that's pretty mean, Bundy.
Yeah.
Promotions such as World Class Championship Wrestling and Windy City Wrestling also had midget divisions during this time. Grand Prix Wrestling in Canada employed midget wrestlers, including Farmer Brooks, until it closed in 1992. And in late 1992, Canadian Claude Giroux signed with the WWF and teamed with the Bushwhackers in their feud against the Beverly Brothers, both of which teams were full-size wrestlers.
Might as well be speaking Spanish or another language to me when it comes to that.
Okay.
We just missed all that because it was so cartoonish. Like I couldn't watch it, you know.
Right. So competitive midget wrestlers declined sharply in the United States in the early 1990s. Midget wrestlers began to show up more comedic roles, which has been criticized by the little people of America as being thoroughly degrading and puts the little people out there as a sideshow and entertainment. In these comedic roles, the wrestlers appeared as miniature versions of existing full-size wrestling stars. For example, Claude Giroux continued his tenure in WWF by dressing as a smaller version of larger wrestlers. More prominent, was his Doink the Clown character, who was the mini Doink the Clown as Dink. Giroux appeared in 1994's WrestleMania 10 in a match where he teamed with Doink against Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon. He made another appearance at that year's Survivor Series, teaming with Doink and the two other midget wrestlers, Pink and Wink, in a match against Jerry Lawler and Lawler's Minis, Sleazy, Queasy, and Cheesy. I remember this. In response to the growing popularity of using midget wrestlers as comedy, Lord Littlebrook, who was popular in the mid-1950s, stated, "I'm disgusted. I really am. I want midget wrestling. I don't want midget comedy." So again, some of them were all about it, and
But
some of them just weren't.
pushed their arm to go there.
Yeah,
You don't go. And
exactly.
Look, I take Santino. He's a comedic. Take a bunch of guys that are regular size that are comedy. We know that. So I don't understand why it makes any difference. And they're forgetting the thing that this is like playing a part in a movie. So you'd be mad at them for playing a part in a movie?
Exactly.
Like, they're getting work,
And that's what they should be worried about.
Yeah.
So in the late 1990s, the WWF and Mexico's AAA had a talent sharing program that allowed several Lucha Libre midget wrestlers to compete on the WWF television. These wrestlers included Max Mini El Torito, Mascarita Sagrada, Mini Vader, and La Parquita. Like in the United States, these midget wrestlers played mini versions of WWF and AAA's full-size wrestlers. Sagarita, repackaged as a character named Nova, made his in-ring debut as a midget wrestling match at Bad Blood in 1997, where he teamed with Max Mini against Tarantula and Mosaic. The midget wrestlers appeared on WWF Shotgun Saturday Night and WWF Monday Night Raw. The WWF midget wrestlers also appeared in matches at the Royal Rumble in 1997 and the Royal Rumble in 1998. World Championship Wrestling also had an influx of midget wrestlers in the late 1996 period. Full-size wrestlers, Mascara Sagrada wrestled in dark matches before Starrcade in 1996, where he teamed with Octagon Nico, mini version of Octagon, and defeated Jarrito Estrada and
Rata Morgan.
Pirata Morgan, the latter of which was also a little person. The next day, the teams faced again, and this time on WCW Nitro. And there goes Hornswoggle. Because I shot a Hornswoggle from the World Wrestling Federation in 2007. So on the independent circuit, there was an increased interest in midget hardcore wrestling matches, and groups such as Half Pint Brawlers began selling DVDs and opened for musical acts such as Kid Rock. World Wrestling All-Stars also included hardcore matches in 2002 through 2003 with performers such as Meatball, T.O., and Puppet competing in matches where they hit each other with trash cans and other foreign objects. In early days of Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, TNA, NWA, in 2002, the promotion included a hardcore midget wrestling division.
Wow.
Although the division was later abandoned at Victory Road in 2004, the company's first monthly pay-per-view, Mascara Sagrada defeated Pirata Morgan. That might have been wrong. Sorry. In 2005, the World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, announced the creation of Juniors division with their SmackDown brand, which consisted of wrestlers at or below 5 foot tall, but it was discontinued in March 2006. Despite releasing many of the junior talent, they hired Dylan Prosty in 2006, which played a leprechaun character named Little Bastard, and later Hornswoggle, who accompanied the Northern Irish wrestler Fit Finlay to the ring.
I remember that.
Yeah. At the Great American Bash in 2007, he won the WWE Cruiserweight Championship, and a title normally held for a full-size male wrestler. Finlay and Hornswoggle also challenged for the WWE Tag Team Championship at Night of the Champions in June of 2008. During his tenure with his company, the midget wrestlers employed in the independent circuit, including Short Sleeve Samson, were bought in to portray the mini versions of larger wrestlers whom Finlay was feuding with. That's pretty funny. In February 2000, the Micro Wrestling Federation, MWF, wrestling promotion made up of entirely little people, was established. The promotion featured both serious wrestling matches and more comedic aspects. In early 2008, the Wrestling Entertainment Shack booking agency acquired the MWF. After the acquisition, the entertainment agency hired many new midget wrestlers, making the organization the largest midget wrestling show in the United States. The show can be seen nationwide with a tour scheduled for that encompasses the entire United States, Canada, and South America. The promotion usually books between 150 and 180 shows per year.
Where are they getting all these midgets from?
Pat Tanaka was working with a lot of these guys. He had his
develop them,
midget. Yes, he did. He had his own promotion doing this.
Wow.
I think that might be the one we just read about. In the 21st century, there has been a substantial controversy surrounding the sport. The hardcore wrestling troupe, the Half Pint Brawlers, simulated sex, used staple guns as weapons, and performed using other hardcore antics. In January 2008, during a Delta Upsilon fraternity event of Northwestern University, the event caused the fraternity to face disciplinary action. In August 2008, the female performers in the MWF caused a disturbance when they appeared topless bar in Canton, Illinois, in addition to the Little People of America, began to frown upon the use of the word midget in 2007, considering it to be degrading. The wrestlers involved in the sport do not always agree with the assessment, citing the longevity of the sport and appeal of the term audiences. In 2018, Texas-based organization Extreme Dwarfinators Wrestling, which has toured across the United States for many years, decided to tour England and Wales in the UK due to the explosion of interest in the UK wrestling scene. They instructed Wales-based agency Durgo Media to assist with language, tone, and transitional issues, and began to eliminate the word midget from all UK marketing material. At launch, the word dwarfinators was substituted on social media posters, advertisements, and banners. The Restricted Growth Association opposed the event and describing it as a freak show. The RGA's statement offended many in the wrestling community. Such notable dwarfs in the community, such as James Luster, actor, former dwarf game participant, and consigliere, spoke against the organization, including former relatives of the founders of the RGA. Once 3 venues in England banned the dwarfs from appearing, a legal case for discrimination was stated, quoting the Equality Act of 2010, Coyote Ugly saloons in UK briefly suspended ticket sales while they took counsel on the matter. They gave the event support. So in 2022, Major League Wrestling was announced. They announced their midget division. That was another promotion, Major League Wrestling. In Mexico, which they're huge in Mexico, say his name, Mascarada Sagrada. Okay, is the more popular of the midgets in Mexico and has also been featured in World Wrestling Entertainment and World Championship Wrestling in the United States. In Mexico, he has competed in AAA, Senjo, say that
Mundial de Lucha Libre,
and a long list of independent promoters over the years. He debuted in CMLL, where he has been patterned after popular luchador Mascara Sagrada, and given his name, which is in Spanish, is Little Sacred Mask. During his first year working as Mascarada Sagrada, he made guest appearances in Puerto Rico, working for the World Wrestling Council at their 17th anniversary show, teaming with Aguilita Sororita in a losing effort against the team of
Paratita Morgan
and Espectorito. All right. This match was one of the early pairings of Mascarito Sagrada and Espirito, a rivalry that would last for a decade and span through several promotions. In the late 1990s, when midget wrestling in the United States began to decline in popularity, it remained popular in Mexico. In fact, prominent Mexican wrestling promotions, CMLL, created their midget division the year before 1989. In 1992, the promotion established its primary championship for midget wrestling, the CMLL World Mini Estrella Championship. Sagrada was the first champion. Mascarita Sagrada and Espectorito continued their feud in AAA, now with their newly created Mexican National Mini Estrella Championship in the 1990s. In January 1994, Espectorito became the first champion after winning a tournament final. On November 1994, Sagrada and Octagonito teamed up to defeat. I can't read these.
It's Espectorito.
And Jarito Estrada
crossed
on
over.
Triple A's first pay-per-view event, When Worlds Collide, in 2002. Triple A's established the Triple A Mascot Tag Team Championship, which was the tag team championship held by full-size wrestlers, and his mini, the initial were Mascara Sagrada and Masquerita Sagrada, who held the title for approximately 2 years before losing it to Albergit.
Allerbrige and Kuje.
Okay. The latter team held the championship until April 2009, when they left the promotion and the title was vacated.
I get a kick out of that term. You always hear in a tournament final, which means it never happened, and they're just going to give the kid the belt because the other guy left.
More than likely, yes. Championships and accomplishments. So Skylo Low, Marcel Gauthier, who was the National Wrestling Alliance first world midget champion, Little Beaver, Lionel Gurot, all right, Lord Littlebrook, and Fuzzy Cupid all have been inducted into the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. In addition, other awards were developed for the midget professional wrestlers. For example, Pro Wrestling Illustrated presented a Midget Wrestler of the Year award annually from 1972 to 1976. I don't know why they stopped that.
I guess because they stopped using them a lot, maybe.
No. The National Wrestling Alliance promoted the NWA World Midgets Championship from 1949 until 1999. So they still use them. Little Tokyo held the title more than any other wrestler with a total of 3 reigns. There was also a World Midget Tag Team Championship, which was held by such as Little Tokyo and Lord Littlebrook. There are also several Mexican midget titles, including the AAA World Mini Estrellas Championship and Mascot Tag Team Championship. Say that for me, Tommy. Right, World Estrella Championship, Mexican National Mini Estrella Championship, and the World Wrestling Association's Minis Championship.
Oh, nice.
So they do have a lot of titles. Now we're getting to notable midget wrestlers. Cowboy Lang, real name Harry Lang. Let's see, was a midget professional wrestler known as Cowboy Lang. He was born in 1950, died in 2007. There goes the little guy. Is that bad to say little guy?
Nah.
Okay, there he goes.
I'm looking for Frenchie Lamont. That's what I'm looking for. We'll see if he comes up.
So then we got Katie Glass, who was born in 1944. She's a retired. Diamond Little was her ring name. Let's see, Katie Glass. Okay, not too much on Katie Glass. Then we have, let's see, Spectrito. Okay, Mario Perez Jimenez was born 66, died in 2016, Mexican wrestler, Mini Estrella Luchador, or a mini professional wrestler best known under the ring name Espectrito. You say it.
Espectrito.
Jimenez worked for World Wrestling Federation as Mini Vader and El Torito between 1997 and 1999. Jimenez was the first ever Mexican National Mini Estrella Champion and IWC World Mini Estrella Champion. Jimenez was originally an mass or a mass wrestler under the Espectrito name, lost it to Sagrada in Lucha de Apasada, match, a bet match where each wrestler puts his mask on the line. And so he was a mini version of
Espectrito.
Right. So he was a mini version of the bigger one. So here's Espectrito number 2, was a mini luchador midget wrestler who worked mainly under Espectrito number 2. Alejandro's twin brother.
Oh, wow.
Alberto was also a midget professional wrestler who worked under, could you imagine that? Worked under the name La Parquita.
Yeah, so it's probably
Alejandro,
small La Parca.
yeah, and Alejandro had another brother, Mario Perez Jimenez, who worked as El Spectrito. Alejandro was most famous for working Mexican professional wrestling, AAA, International Wrestling Revolution Group, the Mexican Independent Circuit, as well as working for the World Wrestling Federation, where he was billed the mini Mankind, the miniature version of Mankind. Alejandro of his twin brother were both killed on June 29th in a double murder.
Who would kill them?
Wow.
I guess midgets can get in trouble too, huh?
Yeah, pretty horrific. There he goes right there.
Wow.
Doesn't
he look like a midget, really?
No, he just looks like a,
like a Mexican wrestler.
Yeah, a smaller guy. And then that's tragic. Then we move on to Farmer. I wonder how they died. I'm going to look that up.
I have to look it up.
We have Farmer Brooks. Clifford Fraser was a Canadian wrestler, midget wrestler, known as Farmer Brooks, and was a major participant in Grand Prix wrestling throughout the 1980s and a longtime rival of Skylo Low. Before attaining worldwide famous status, Farmer Brooks wrestled with different organizations.
Nice.
And then we move on to Fuzzy Cupid, Leon Strap, sometimes spelled Leon Stop. That's weird. Let's see. He was born in 1928 and died in 1976. He was an American midget professional wrestler known as Fuzzy Cupid. During his career, he was the frequent tag team partner of fellow midget wrestler Skylo Low. And there he goes right there. He's one of those. Wow.
Some of these guys had like regular sized girlfriends and stuff too.
Oh, yeah, and hot ones too.
Yeah. Really
hot. And then we move on to the Haiti Kid. Raymond Kessler is a Haitian retired wrestler who he has dwarfism and wrestled under the name Haiti Kid in the World Wrestling Federation. There's Haiti Kid right there.
Could have been SD's mini. SD Jones. You could have been SD Jones's mini.
Yes. Great idea. And then we have Hornswoggle, Dylan Mark Posty, who was born in 1986. Wow, he's young. Is an American retired professional wrestler, best known for his time in WWE under the ring name Hornswoggle. He debuted in WWE in 2006 and allied with Finlay. Hornswoggle won the Cruiserweight Championship in his first stint and was revealed as Vince McMahon's bastard son. And was exposed to anonymous Raw general manager who was controlled the Raw brand from June 2010 to July 2011. He also competed in Impact Wrestling. So,
boy, that's some gimmick to say that he was.
Yeah, I mean, he had quite the run there.
There is no limit to what they'll say.
And then we have Kimonito. And Quemonito, born in 1967, he's a Mexican wrestler or masked professional wrestler mascot, currently working for Mexican professional wrestling promotion, CMLL, portraying a good guy wrestling character. Quemonito's real name is not a matter of public record, as it is often the case with Mexican wrestlers that have their private lives kept separate from wrestling fans. And, he's worked for CMLL and used his role to fill Tenables under the name.
Yeah, that's another, I think, full-size guy.
Sure, as, it's okay. So, all right. So this is a depiction of him. It's a drawing of him. I don't know why they don't just have a real picture, but okay. And then we move on to Laura Paquita. Alberto Perez Jimenez was Mexican wrestler luchador who worked for a mini Estrella division from 1990 until his death in 2009. He was best known under the ring name La Parquita, having used the name in a ring at AAA, the Mexican independent circuit, and Shakira in the United States. His older brother Mario and twin brother Alejandro also wrestled under the names at Chiquito at number 1 and 2, respectively, on
Here's
June
the answer. Right
9th.
here.
Both twins were killed by prostitutes in Mexico.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I guess we don't have to look that up.
All right.
Like I said,
Real.
they get in trouble just like regular sized people.
Yeah, but I mean, what a couple of prostitutes, what, to roll them and then just had to kill them too?
Yeah,
That's
can you imagine?
horrible. And then we move on to Little Beaver. Lionel Guerrero,
Yep.
born in 34, died in 95, was a midget who was best known at his name, Little Beaver. His most notable appearance was in a 6-man tag team match at WrestleMania 3 for the World Wrestling Federation. And there goes that guy. Look at him with his little legs crossed. That's something.
He was one of the ones that didn't have that same, like, distorted looking body. Like, there were some of them that were just short that didn't look as weird body wise as midgets normally do. So
Then we got this Claude Guerrero here. Again, all right, born in 56, is a Canadian-born midget wrestler whose career spans over 20 years.
Wow.
He's still active as a Canadian independent circuit. Guerrero's biggest exposure came when he performed as Doink the Clown sidekick Dink in the World Wrestling Federation between 1993 and 1995. Outside of his stint as Doink the Clown, he also performs in WWF as Tiger Jackson in the mid-'80s and as the Macho Midget in 1990s. So they don't have a picture of him here, but I think we're all, familiar with him. I think he was like the little Hulkster and all as well. So
Jackson,
yeah, pretty interesting. And then we have a Little Tokyo. Help me out with that name, Tommy.
It looks like Shigeru Akabane.
We'll take it. Best known under his ring name Little Tokyo, was a Japanese professional midget wrestler who competed in North American promotions from 1970 into the 1990s, including appearances for American Wrestling Association, AWA, National Wrestling Alliance, NWA, and the World Wrestling Federation. Most notably appeared in WrestleMania as Lil in a mixed tag team match with Lord Littlebrook and King Kong Bundy against Hillbilly Jim and the Haiti Kid and Little Beaver in 1988. He held the NWA World Midgets Championship on 3 occasions. Look at this guy.
Yeah, Little Tokyo. I remember him.
Yeah, he's intimidating.
Yeah.
He's 70 years old now. Wow. So, and then we have, say his name, please.
Mascarita Dorada.
All right. And Little Golden Mask was born in 1982. The ring name, Mexican luchador El Mascada, or masked professional wrestler who works in the Mini Estrella division. Comparable to midget wrestling, he is also known for his tenure with WWE under the ring name El Torito, Spanish for the Little Bull. I love it. That's great. That was just September of 2013.
Yeah, wow.
So he's still running strong. Okay, and then we got this meatball. I was interested to see who this is. Richard Ellinger, born in 1970, better known by his ring name Meatball, is an American professional wrestler who is signed to Micro Championship Wrestling.
I've seen him. Yep, I saw that show. I remember that.
Okay.
Hogan had something to do with producing that.
Yeah, I think that was the one Pat Tanaka was training for, as a matter of fact. Then we have Micro Man, born 1998, the ring name Mexican masked professional wrestler luchador. Say Tommy?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mascarado in Spanish, who worked for the Mexican professional wrestling promotion, CMLL. Microman has dwarfism and competes in CMLL's Little People exclusive Micro Estrella's Micro Stars division. He's the son of Manito, also a little person who works as a mascota in CMLL. His real name is not a matter of public record, you know, as most fans are.
So
Look,
98, he's young.
look at this guy. He's like a little baby.
He really is small.
Oh shoot. That's
He's
yeah,
young.
that's
98, 2008.
yeah. So really he is a baby.
Yeah.
And then we got Mai Ji, who was born in 1969. He's a Mexican luchador midget, currently working for CMLL promotion, where he portrays a heel known as Rudo in Lucha Libre, the antagonist of professional wrestling. He is one of the competitors in CMLL's Microstar division, where he competes with and against other wrestlers with dwarfism. Wow. And there he goes. He looks kind of...
Yeah, he might be one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, he looks like he could be at least 5 foot tall from what I'm saying. And then we have Mini Abismo Negro. He was born in 1978. Mexican ring name Mini Estrella. He works in the Mini Estrella division for AAA. Mini Abismo Negro is a former 2-time Mexican national Mini Estrella champion and the former AAA World Mini Estrella champion. The only wrestler to hold both titles. Mini Abismo Negro's real name is not a matter of record. Yeah, we know. Okay, no picture of him either. So I guess they won't give the name or a picture.
Yeah. Really be a mask anyway.
Yeah, right. Then we got the Mini Psychosis. Enrique Del Rio, born in 1966, is a luchador, a midget, worked for AAA and Mini Estrella division since AAA was founded in 1992. Del Rio currently works under the ring name Mini Psychosis, is a smaller version of Psychosis 2, and is a former AAA World Mini Estrella champion. Until 2008, he worked for Gerito Estrada, a smaller version of the wrestler Jerry Estrada, as Estrada Del Rio has held the Mexican National Mini Estrada Championship once, being the shortest reigning champion in the title's history. Working in the mini division does not automatically mean that he has dwarfism, as several short wrestlers work in the mini division, including Enrico Del Rio.
Wow, check that out.
Kind of not fair, but okay. I thought it was just something for them.
They might not have enough.
Right. Okay, and then we have Octagonito.
Antagonito.
Okay, I was close. Born in 1974, is a Mexican masked wrestler, works in Mini Estrella's Mini Stars division, the Mexican independent circuit. He is the first wrestler to work as Octagonito with Triple A, giving the same ring character to second Octagonito. When the original one left the promotion in 1995, his real name, again, not a matter of public record. He has worked for, CMLL, WWE, WCW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and a slew of smaller promotions working in the mini division. This does not necessarily mean that he has dwarfism, as short wrestlers can be a part of. Okay. So he looks like he might just be a short guy. I don't think they should be able to do that.
Yeah.
Then we have El Galito. Let's see. He's a Mexican luchador, currently works for CMLL, where he portrays a face known as Technico in Lucha, the protagonist of professional wrestling. He is one of the competitors in CMLL Micro Estrella's Microstar division, where he competes with and against other wrestlers with dwarfism. He's a little guy. Yeah. All right. And that was just in 2018, so he's still in the game. So go ahead, say that again, Tommy.
Octagonito. Go Nocito. Octagon Nocito. That's it.
Works for AAA. He's in Mini Estrella division. He's the second wrestler to work under that ring name, being given the name after the original left AAA, and he still works under that ring name on the independent circuit. So he's another one who is just just a short guy though, and may not be a midget.
Right.
Just he qualifies because he's little. And then we have a Morgan. All right. Raimundo Rodriguez, born in 1969, died in 2018. He was, let's see, his ring name was Parito Morgan. He also worked as a
Enmascarado.
Or a masked wrestler under the names Battalion
Payasito Rojo and Coquito Rojo. Something red.
Okay. Rodriguez was one of the first wrestlers to compete in Mini Estrella's division in Mexico, a division where both dwarf wrestlers and wrestlers of short stature competed, often portraying a smaller version of a regular-sized wrestler. Rodriguez performed as a smaller version of Parito Morgan from the beginning of his career until his death. Rodriguez's brother was also a Mini Estrella, known under the ring name Espantito. Okay, he is not related to the wrestler Parito Morgan Jr. Okay, and then we have Tsuzuki. Sometimes spelled Suzuki, I don't know, is a Mexican mini, works for Mini Estrellas in the division of Mexico. Throughout his career, he has worked for under various ring names, and you're going to have to help me with this.
Mascarita Sagrada, Mini Rey Mysterio Jr., and Max Mini. So Tsuzuki, that's where we're at, has worked.
Okay. He worked for AAA, World Wrestling Federation, and a variety of special appearances for independent promotions all over Mexico and the United States, Europe, Japan, and currently works for CMLL. His real name, again,
giving us his name would make any difference. He's got a mask on anyway. Crazy.
Okay, so they say he might not qualify as but he looks like he's a dwarf.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he qualifies. And then we got the little show, the redneck brawler, Jacob Brooks. Now I can't click on that because it doesn't have any references for him. So yeah. I think it was interesting to focus on the midgets, past and the current. It's important to they're a part of the business, and it is very important. When I promoted shows, I used midgets. I did. Martine and Frankie Third Degree Burns.
I remember him.
In a tag team match back in '96, which was a bit messy, but the crowd was entertained by it. Midgets are always that little special something extra in a wrestling show that if you're a fan, you look forward to it because you want to see everything. You want to see the men, the women, and then you want to see the midgets. It's a special attraction that everyone looks forward to, especially the children, because they're about the same size. And it's it's a different element of wrestling that makes it even though they don't want it to be comedic, either way it's going to be, but in such a fun way that it's for the family. And it's even the hardcore stuff, you could see past the violence that they're putting out there to see that this can be presented to children actually.
And they're very good. They're very talented,
really good.
I've seen them do things that are amazing.
I've learned a lot about midgets and the roster of different midgets that there are, and the fact that we can even say the word midgets is amongst other wrestlers who are not insulted by that word being a slur or a derogatory form. So we tributed tonight on Wrestling Rewind the midgets of professional wrestling. And I hope that you've all enjoyed it. And I know I've learned a lot. Tommy, I'm
Yeah,
sure
absolutely. I just don't know where Frenchie Lamont was. I don't know. I got to call these people again tomorrow.
I know there's a lot of information. There's a lot of midgets that are not on that list that we would have liked to have seen on the list. And as we see, sometimes lists are not completely complete, but we'll get to it in later episodes. We'll pull it up, and anyone that we missed will be just thrown in there as we begin, as we continue to rewind wrestling episode by episode and teach you every bit of everyone's role and everything that, from A to Z, the parts that everyone has played in wrestling, their importance in it, and the facts of the history of professional wrestling. So tuning here into Wrestling Rewind is going to give you a wrestling education like you've never had before. And I hope you've enjoyed the show for this evening. Tommy, I hope you've also
Excellent.
enjoyed.
Anytime I can learn something I don't know.
Yes, and hope that you'll all join us back here next week on YouTube, Monte and the Pharaoh's YouTube, and make sure to like and subscribe, and you'll get notifications of when our shows and other shows on the network will be on. So please get over there and subscribe to Monte and the Pharaoh's YouTube, where we will be on every Sunday at 7 p.m. sharp. So catch us every Sunday there. And for myself, Angel Amoroso, and my co-host, the Iron Man, Tommy Cairo, have a nice night and a nice life. Good night.